All righty, now will Obama swing left or right? That story tops tonight's 2-minute drill. Your most valuable panel tonight, Townhall.com editor Katie Pavlich, Dow Jones New Wires columnist Al Lewis, and my friend and buddy, Euro Capital CEO Peter Schiff is here. Let's fire up the clock. How about that? All right, President Barack Obama will address the country next Thursday, a week from tonight, actually. And he may be up against the first NFL game. His topic, a new jobs plan. And panel, there are plenty of things the president probably can get through this Republican-dominated House, right? You get trade deals, you got tax reform, a moratorium on regulations. Katie, now is he going to do that triangulation thing on the GOP, or is he just going to go out and try to appease his base with something that has no chance of passing?
Yeah, I doubt we're going to hear Obama not slam the GOP a few times during his job speech. But I think if the White House was smart, they would stop talking about jobs, because we all know that the government doesn't create jobs, and talk about deregulation, talk about how he's going to change regulation in the EPA, talk about how he's going to suspend the payroll tax. I mean, he needs to do the things that the government can do to deregulate the marketplace, and businesses will take care of the rest.
Amen, Katie. I would just vote for you. I'd forget those other knuckleheads. Al.
All right.
Al, what's going to go on with new pro-union rules issued by the NLRB? South Carolina's Republican governor has had enough. Nikki Haley. Good for her. She reportedly reports crippling the National Labor Relations Board. She wants the lone Republican on the board to resign in protest. She calls the NLRB, quote unquote, un-American. Big Al. Is she right?
What's more American than calling somebody un-American? Listen, Toby, you know what? You can hate the NLRB and you can hate the unions and you can disagree with their agendas, but this is just rhetoric, and I think it reflects poorly on her, and it just shows that she's not being all that effective in her position.
Katie, are you a hater on the NLRB too? Don't hate the player, just hate the game?
I'll be a hater on the NLRB. Look, I think there's nothing more un-American than shutting down a manufacturing plant for opening a manufacturing plant in a state that doesn't necessarily go with union jobs. I mean, what's more un-American than shutting down jobs just because you disagree with their non-union policies? I mean, I think that's really un-American there, and I think it's a brilliant, not only political move by Nikki Haley, but it's also a way for her to kind of stay clear on the ethics side of it by having someone on the Republican side step down and protest.
Peter, in fact, today in Michigan, more than 500 bars, there's more than 500 bars in Michigan, I've been to all of them, decided to ban any and all Michigan lawmakers from entering the premises, thanks to a ban on smoking that left more than a few patrons unhappy. All right. Even those who don't smoke were unhappy with this thing, all right?
All these regulars are smokers. They enjoy coming in, watching the games, and drinking their beer and smoking while they're here. So I'm sure it's going to hurt a lot of businesses.
All right, Katie, banning lawmakers going to a bar, is that a good idea?
Hey, you know, it's costing businesses $200 million, and I say these lawmakers are getting a taste of their own medicine, and it's bipartisan, so why not? It's their property. Businesses can serve who they wish and when they wish, so more power to them.
But, Peter, deal sites are losing quite a bit of their luster. Groupon visits right now, for example, they were down like 50% last week from the second week in June. That would obviously peaked this year. Peter, should investors steer clear of this social commerce bubble like Groupon?
Well, I wouldn't touch these. I mean, Groupon's not even public yet, but
yeah, but they're going to do an IPO,
I think this
right?
is the new fad.
Yeah.
And the valuations are nosebleed. I wouldn't touch any of these social media stocks. Give them a few years and see how it shakes out. But I would go near them.
Well, Katie, one of the things on these sites is that, all over the world, these guys are trying to compete. Everybody's cloned them. There's like 5,000 copycats of everything going on.
Right, so I guess let the best deal win. But, I mean, you have to look at the timing of this, too. I think that it's summertime, and a lot of the deals you get on a Living Social or Groupon, you have to use within a couple of days, maybe the next month or two. And summertime is when you're not necessarily in the city where you're getting the deals. So I think that maybe you shouldn't be investing in it right away because they are brand new. But I think that maybe once people get back in school, back in college, back in the workplace after a summer break, that we'll see a pickup in that again. I hope so, because I love Living Social. I think they give you a lot of really good deals.
They're going to want to get an endorsement from you. Hey. All right, it's time for Buy, Sell, and Hold. We take the names and the stories of the news. We treat them as if they were stocks. Would you buy them, sell them, or hold them? First up, leave it to Bernie Sanders, this Vermont senator crazy, releasing confidential trading information of banks and other companies in the crude oil, futures, and other commodities business. He says the public has the right to know where $4 gasoline came from. These dirty, rotten speculators, he calls them. Look at Bernie's breach of trust. Is that a buy, sell, or hold, Doc?
Oh, come on, Bernie. It's time for you. I hope you weren't hit by the flood, Bernie, but from Hurricane Irene. But really, enough already.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Katie, come on. What do you think?
Self-proclaimed socialist gets a definite sell from me. I'm sick of Bernie Sanders. I'm sick of him blaming oil on speculation.
Al Lewis, you're a self-proclaimed socialist. What do you think? I'm just kidding. Yeah.
You know what? I definitely concur with your first two guests, but I'm a journalist. I like information. I'm never going to turn down information no matter how it comes out, so I'm going to give this a buy.
Al is voting his self-interest. This is a sell, Bernie.
Absolutely. That's what you do.
All right, let's see what they say.
Socialists don't
right,
vote their self-interest.
They say it's a buy. The monkeys are smoking something. All right, let's keep going. A woman in South Carolina paid $170 for what you're looking at now. A shiny brand new iPad. If you think it looks a little bit strange, that's because it's actually made of wood. And, of course, it's fake. The Spartanburg, South Carolina woman apparently was told by two men in a parking lot, that should have been the first clue, that they could sell her a new iPod and she could have it for $300. She bargained them down to $170. What a bargainer she was. And it's worth, of course, zeros. Ladies and gentlemen, is this the dumbest buy of the week? Buy, sell, or hold?
Not a great week for Apple, actually, with Steve Jobs. But this is definitely a buy. Dumb.
All right, Katie.
I'm going to say hold it for firewood when the next natural disaster hits and your electricity goes out.
You
So
get a buy, sell, hold
that.
point for that. Al, what do you say, big boy?
You know what? She could have gotten the HP touchpad, which it is dumping on the market for $99. I mean, and I don't know, how long does it take to make a wooden iPad? Did these guys that sold it to her really make any money when you consider their time?
I don't know. Here's what I think. I think it's a buy. She's the dumbest person. But sell, if she puts it on, like eBay, maybe she could get, money for it. So, all right, quickly here. Well, it wasn't the worst deal, but here it happens for Mel Gibson, right? Last year, his ex-girlfriend, Oksana Grigorieva, turned down a $15 million support settlement from the actor. Not enough, she said. Well, talk about regrets. A judge ruling she will get just $750,000. The judge also ruling both of them from here on out have to keep their mouths shut about all this bitter breakup. Oksana turning down $15 million, the worst deal of the year. Quickly, Doctor.
That's the worst deal of the year. Listen, Mel Gibson, I'm no fan of his, and I wish you would got $15 million off him. Definitely.
Oh, there you go. All right, Katie.
I say hold, even though $15 million would have been way better, but at least she got something, and now we don't have to hear about them anymore. So
Al?
definitely a hold for me.
I'm going to give this a hold on the dim hope that some appellate judges are going to look at this and say, you know what, those tapes that she made of Mel screaming are worth at least $15 million.
I'm with you. Listen, I buy this as, she got greedy. That's all I got to say. We say buy. All right, let's look at the results of buy, sell, hold for yesterday. Last question was government micromanage the economy. Is that a good idea or bad idea? Well, 5% said it's a good idea, buy. 93% said sell. 2%, we're wrong. All right, on deck, my final score.